Hello, this is Don Hall at Don Hall Works YouTube channel. I'm in Manteca, California with my best bud, Kira Eadington. And she is a super instructor in ceramics, and she's going to show us some of her techniques, and I'll let her explain it.
Okay, so today we're going to look at a tape resist glazing technique. So you add this onto bisqueware, and you can use any kind of glaze or underglaze that you want. Today I'm going to be using Amico's Obsidian Celadon glaze, but underglaze works, and clear glaze, whatever kind of glaze you want. Generally you want something that's not going to run, otherwise it'll fill in your holes. So once you have your bisqueware, there's different sizes of the tape, and the tape that I'm using is, I just got it off of Amazon. You can also buy it like Staples, stuff like that. So it's a 3M vinyl tape, and like I said, it comes in all different kinds of shapes and sizes. So this tape is really good for sticking onto the bisqueware. Some people use it on greenware. I personally haven't tried that, but as long as you test it out first, give it a try, why not? So it's really easy to make straight lines. Once you do your normal prep for your bisqueware, like wiping it off with a clean, damp sponge, you wait for it to fully dry. You can apply your tape. If you're trying to do a curve, just keep in mind that a curve is a little bit more difficult, but as long as it's a gentle curve, you can run your finger along the edge like that and you can still make a curve. Now, if you're like, oh man, that's not what I wanted, just take the tape off and try it again. Okay, so once you have your tape on there, that's when you're gonna apply your glaze. On this one, I'm just gonna put 3 pieces of tape, and I'm just gonna do straight because it goes the quickest. So once you have that on there, and sometimes my students will try to wrap it around to the back side. You can do that if it makes you feel more comfortable. I feel like it's harder for me to pick it off of the back, so I'll just leave it kind of floppy like this, as long as it's going over all the sides where I'm gonna do the glazing. So when I go to glaze, I'm gonna use, like I said, the Obsidian Celadon. I've pre-wet my paintbrush. And whatever glazes you use that you are familiar with or underglaze, you can use these on here. And I'm just gonna give a generous coat. So usually for the Amico glazes, they recommend more than 1 layer. And they also recommend that you allow it to fully dry before you add on your next layer. So I'm gonna add on that 1 layer to this one. So it goes over the tape, that's fine. If you want the color separation, like on this one, you just gotta be a little bit more careful of how you add it on, okay? So you would just kinda, leave the tape unglazed. So I'm gonna set that one aside. I'm gonna go ahead and put my second layer on this one. And the easiest way that I've found is to actually take the tape off while the glaze is still moist. So you let it dry all the way. And then when you add your second layer on, that kind of adds a little bit of moisture back. So you're gonna add that second layer, and then it's time for peeling the tape. Okay, so at this point we've got our 2 layers on. I had 1 layer and I allowed it to fully dry, and then I added a second layer, and while it's still moist, that's when you're gonna start taking the tape off. So you just peel the tape off. Depending on the year and my students, sometimes I'll have them do it over the garbage can. If it starts to flake off a little bit, that's okay. But if it's still slightly moist, then it's not gonna generally make a huge mess. If they let it dry out all the way, definitely do it over a garbage can because it'll flake a little bit. Now, if you do want your whole project to be fully covered, like right now, there's no glaze in between this. So you want to plan ahead. If you need this to be fully glazed, then you want to use something that you can add a clear glaze or something that layers nicely that'll still show this and will fill in there. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning about the tape resist with glazing. Thanks for joining us at Don Hall Works. You can subscribe to his channel. You can also check out my channel at Kira Eadington on YouTube as well. Thanks. Happy making.